Hey Kayla, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. It's been a busy week so far for me.
Yeah, me too. This is our second week of school, so
Oh yeah, it's my son's second. My daughter's been in about a month now, but yeah, it's almost like we have work too, you know? It's not just the kids going to school. We're like in school too.
yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm trying to make it as easy on the parents as possible, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really a team effort. I've learned that in my 3 years that without parents, I could not do my job.
Yeah, it's so true. Like I actually go in and they want you to help with the centers because my daughter's in kindergarten and it's like there's only so many, and even in a small group, like there's 10 kids in the kindergarten class, but when there's only 2 teachers, it's still not enough to get that one-on-one, that they need.
I know. I wish we had we just now started signing up parents to come in. I hope that I get some parents because it's me by myself with 21, and so I can't get them what they need. And my kids, because I work in the middle of Chicago, is just so low income. They are already so behind. So
yeah, I actually have some family that live in right near Chicago in Indiana in Shireville or something like that, near Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
So
not too far from us at all.
Yeah, I enjoyed my visit there when I went, but I'm sure there's good and bad there, just like Atlanta. Atlanta has, the bad and the good. So
yeah, any place does, it seems.
Yeah, especially the big cities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see everyone on here. I don't know if everyone's met me, but Brandy, Ashley, Jamie, I'm Renee. I'm a 1-star diamond coach. I do have 2 diamonds under me, but they're both on one leg, which keeps me at 1 star. So you have to have a diamond on both legs to be 2-star. But definitely doable. I never thought I would get to where I am right now by any means. So I may give it a couple minutes before I get started. I think it's going to be pretty casual. From my understanding, I'm going to go ahead and just share with you a little bit about how I became Diamond and what my story was like about getting to that milestone in my business. And then we can go from there with answering some questions and helping you guys strategize your way to Diamond, because it is a decision. And once you decide, which all of you I'm sure have decided that you're going to be Diamond, you'll get there. It's just a matter of putting forth the effort each day and being consistent with it, and you'll get there without a doubt. It's just not giving up and having patience. Hey, Melody.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. You having a good week?
Yeah, it's been an intense one, to say the least. Like the kids with school, and we just went under contract on our house.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And we still haven't found where we're going to go.
Stress.
So we may be homeless for a little bit in between there. But that's okay. We'll figure it out,
Yeah.
We're still a family. We still got each other. So I guess that's the most important thing.
Right.
We will have another house one day, right?
Yes, we will.
A few week lag in there, some elsewhere. Hopefully not. Hey, Molly. Hey, Devin.
Hi.
Should I go ahead and get started? Just tell me when, Devin, and I'll go ahead and get going.
I would say so. I think it's good.
Okay. Well, I think I'm just going to start off with like real casual, and I'm just going to tell you kind of my story with Diamond and how I got there and how it was really a decision I had made. And first it was a decision to become Emerald, and I became Emerald, I guess is where I should start, with my mom and my husband. So I had both of them on both sides. You know, I put my husband on my weak leg and my mother on my strong leg. And I'm sure most of you are Emerald, so you kind of get that where like you want to use your spouse or someone in your family to cycle some orders through to help with income as you grow a team. So I just basically, Devin told me and Amber told me, this is what you're going to do. And I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. And I didn't really understand.
We strongly suggested. We didn't tell you.
Yeah, they strongly suggested this is what you want to do if you're going to do it. So just get to Emerald. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that's going to do, but I'm going to do it. And I remember I was running my challenge group. I had some challengers in there. I even had some that weren't drinking Shakeology because I just was focusing on transformations and building credibility with people and adding value to people any way I could in the beginning. And Devin met me at a Panera, and I won't forget that she was like, we need to meet at Panera. I don't know if Devin even remembers this. So she's looking kind of like she may have forgotten. But we met. Okay, so we met at a Panera, and she sat down. She was like, so how are you getting to Diamond? And I was like, I don't know. I don't have anybody that's going to help me get to Diamond. Like, I don't have anybody that wants to do this. And she's like, yeah, you do. Let's talk about this. Who do you have in your challenge group that is posting and engaged and motivating others and, cheering other people on? And so when she asked me those questions, I was like, well, I do have, and I remember I was like, I have Tammy and I have this girl, Jennifer, and I just started naming people in my challenge group that had been active in the group, had been encouraging each other. And by the time I got done with that call, I may have had like one person not filled out in my Diamond diagram. And I had just randoms on a list that I was thinking, well, they could make a good coach. I know they, talk about needing some, extra finances and wanting a community of other women to be a part of. So I had made a little side list, not knowing how I was going to get there, but I just now had this plan of action. So I just started going to each person individually and being very casual about it, not pressuring anyone into it, but I just kind of said, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And I just kind of let it flow from there. I didn't get really scripty with anybody because I felt for me, coaching, everyone's driven to be a coach for a different reason, so it's kind of hard to be in a script with anyone in regards to coaching. So I just was like, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And a lot of times I got, well, actually I have, but I'm not a salesperson, or I don't know how to run these groups, or I don't have the time to do this. And when each person shared those things with me, at first I would obviously go to Devin and say, what do I say to so-and-so? They say they don't have time. Like, how do I respond? So, utilize your upline and also dig into the back office for training and the team page. Like, post about it if you don't know how to respond. Get feedback from other people, because we're all like a family and, here to help each other out with that. But that was what I did, and I would just address that and say, well, it doesn't take a lot of time. It's different for everyone. You put in what you get out of it, and we'll do it together. I'll mentor you. We'll do it together. I kind of made it sound like we're going to do this as a group and have fun with it. And that's kind of the team I brought along with me is, we're just going to do this thing together, and I'm here for you. And that's kind of how it's evolved and made me a solid diamond over time. So it's just consistency over time, not thinking that it's going to happen overnight, but just working on developing challengers day by day and helping them get transformations and letting them build confidence in themselves by telling them that you believe in them, just like you would tell them that about losing weight or, getting healthy again, or, pressing play that day. It's the same way, just about coaching instead. So you just build that confidence in them that way versus, the other, well, both ways actually. So you just keep doing both. You just add that in there. And over time, they see the confidence in themselves, and a lot of times they join you, and sometimes they don't, but it's not anything you did. It's just not meant for everybody, and it's okay. Just keep moving forward and keep asking.
And on that note, too, it's not always the people that are, the most outspoken in the group. Those might be the best active, business building coaches, but the ones that are, quietly, consistently doing their thing, don't be afraid to reach out to them too, because they deserve to know about the discount if you haven't already, just letting them know that they can still be part of this community ongoing and, treating them as well, because not everybody's going to always be like us and maybe out there in the group and sharing photos and this and that. I don't even think I started like that, but, because those people, you need those people on your team too. And you want them part of your tribe as well, even if they might not be actively coaching, because they might change their mind one day too. You never know.
Yeah, that is true, because I started actually backtracking even more. I told Devin that I was just going to be a discount. I just wanted to save money on my Shakeology. That was what I started at in the beginning, and it just evolved from there. And I always try to keep track on a calendar of everyone that does, sign up with a challenge pack or with just Shakeology or whatever, whoever's on Shakeology. I give them 3 weeks, and at that 3-week mark, I'm always sending them a message, and I'm always trying to stay consistent with, what's your favorite flavor of Shakeology? How can I, help you make it better? What are you doing? What are your likes and dislikes? Let's get this, figured out for you, and really stay, proactive in that with them. And then when the 3-week mark hits, approach them about becoming a preferred member and getting that discount on the Shakeology, because that's adding value to them, showing them you really care, and helping them, and also helping you at the same time. So that's another way, and then you never know where it'll lead from there, if they'll decide to become business builders and earn it for free, or go all in and become diamonds like yourselves. So, yeah. So, anyone have any questions or feedback, or how's it going with who you're talking to?
Anyone super overwhelmed? It's okay. It's okay to say absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there are weeks I still get overwhelmed. There's a lot of demands on us, not just as coaches, but as, mothers and wives. And, if you also are working a full-time job, there's lots of demands on us. And it's really easy to get overwhelmed if you are not organized. That is the biggest thing I can tell you guys right now. If you take a day, Amber might not like this, but take a day off from inviting and go get organized. There are so many different things that can help you with that. But the first thing I have to say is setting business hours and setting boundaries. If you think you need to be going into your challenge groups and checking in all day long, You do not need to be doing that. That is going to drain you. It's super fun. And it's because they're the people that signed up with you. They're the people that are trusting you. You want to give them as much love as you can. And you know that those are your best potentials for coaches, but you don't need to be in there all the time. I check in the morning and I check in at night. I tell them at the beginning of the group when I'm going to be checking in with them. So they are not expecting more from me than I'm going to be giving them. I will comment on them. I send them, voicemails at the end of the week, so they can hear my voice. I go live in there. I, do a lot of different things, but mainly it's in the morning and at night. And I guess you could say after my, my workout, but usually if it's my workout, I'm throwing it in there and I'm going to do what I need to do. If I'm getting messages from them, and I learned this at Summit actually. What did she say? This was from one of my favorite coaches, Allie Upham. That is awesome. I'm so glad you're enjoying results. Why don't you go share that in the group so we can all celebrate you? If I get questions on Messenger, if I get questions on my phone, that's a great question. Why don't you go and ask it in the group so we can all learn from it? Those are just examples of setting boundaries. So, because if you can set some boundaries and get your challenge groups, under control, then you can, concentrate that other time, those other baby blocks of time that you might have on your invites, on your follow-ups, on all those different things. So you don't feel like you're being hit with everything all at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that as well. Also, when you're plugging into your challenge group all the time, like day in and day out, and that's all you're doing, and I mean, obviously it's important to get your other things done for your business, but it also kind of sets yourself up in a way where your challengers don't think they can be a coach because they don't think they have the time to plug into a group, that kind of like 24/7 availability. So you're more likely to transition challengers into coaches if you're not available 24/7, so that you show them that, it doesn't take a lot of time to do this. I plug in for 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night, or even 10 minutes and 10 minutes, and that's it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
So funny that y'all are talking about that because like I just said the thing that you said, Devin, about the challenge groups on, was it Monday night?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so funny because I feel like this is a recurring theme, which is always pay attention a little more closely when I start hearing the same thing over and over, like in a short period of time. So I think that's a really good point. And I think it's super important. The earlier you can set boundaries, the better, right? Mm-hmm. Because time goes on and what you permit will continue. And so you're just opening up the door for being open 24/7. And then, no wonder you feel overwhelmed because you feel like there are some days I feel like a question and answer machine, and that's when I know, instead of answering questions, let's help people know where to find the answers, instead, and you can do that with your challengers too. So Renee made a great point there. So all good stuff.
And what I've done recently too to help me is I create, I know even Shalene teaches this, is, whether you work inside the home, outside the home, you basically, to make the most out of our days, because we do have so many demands on us, you should have every single hour of your life scheduled. And the days that I've done that, I feel so much more grounded. I know when I'm going to work out. I know when it's just kid time. I know what I'm going to be doing, working off a list, during that nap time, because I do stay at home. So, and then I know what I'm going to be doing at night, and only Mondays and Wednesday nights. Right now, that's when I really, work later into the night. Tuesdays, my days are way too busy for me to be doing that because I'm literally leaving the house 4 or 5 times, which is just stupid. I won't get into it. And then Thursdays, I follow up on some few things too. But, just knowing what your week looks like and scheduling it out so you don't have that overwhelmed feeling come Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that helps a lot. And I'm actually redoing mine right now, but I have a weekly, you can't really see it very well. It's It's called Devon's Weekly Schedule for Success. I came up with that myself. And I'm redoing it, but like I have my personal, and that's at the top because you take care of you. And then I have my team under that. So my personal, challenge groups, and I have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like it's Excel. It's not that pretty. It's just down and dirty what I need to be doing, and I put little check marks. Like I checked in with my challenge group in the morning and I checked in with it at night. Actually, I just am redoing it right now. Like follow up, I followed up, with my Facebook messages and my email messages. And then I've just kind of started trying out Teamsy. So that's when I'll do like my power of threes, if you will. Like I'll go do my connections. I'll go do my invites and my coaches. I have my 3 ads. So I just basically make a list of everything I need to be doing. And then I move on to the team. And by having that list and then having my schedule, I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing during that time that I have. And that may be overwhelming, just thinking about putting that all down on paper. But I promise once you get into the habit of it, it takes so much of the pressure off because you're not like sitting there like, well, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Like, no, I need to be doing my invites. I need to be doing this part because I know exactly what time of the day I'm going to be working. So I need to go in and get it done so I can go take care of my other stuff. If you can do that and set that time aside on Sunday to just plan out your week as much as possible, or even just Monday through Wednesday, that's working off that list. And we're always talking about lists. The top coaches sat up there at Summit and said they're always working off lists. Which I think that we've really honed in with this training too. That's really going to take that overwhelming pressure off. Doesn't mean there's going to be less work, but when you're working, you're working. And when you're with your family, you're with your family. When you're at your job, you're at your job. You can't be being pulled in all these different directions or you 100% will start to feel overwhelmed. But when I sit down and I get organized, like I took that day today, I feel a million times better. So it's normal to get that feeling because we're pushing, right? We're pushing on y'all right now, big time, because we know the value of not only being diamond for cycling, but just for, for leadership purposes and for attracting people to your team. So we're trying to help you guys get there as soon as possible, but that takes a lot of work to get there. And the more you can get your own personal systems in place, because my system might not work well for another person. But as soon as you can get those in place, like you'll be able to get more work done in less amount of time. It's just as simple as that. I even have a whiteboard. Sometimes I use whiteboards.
I do the same thing with the whiteboard.
My team is so tired of my whiteboards. It helps though. If you can list all those people, yeah, we've talked about it too. And as far as like social media goes, I'm happy to share this with you guys. It's a social media scheduler too. Again, you can sit down there on a Sunday or a Monday night and you don't have to do 5-8 days out. Just do 2 or 3 days out and get in that habit of what you're going to post, when you're going to, go live, when you're going to, post a recipe, your workouts, whatever you're doing, just, lifestyle things. There are so many schedules out there for everything. If you feel like you need something like that, just ask, because I guarantee you someone's got some sort of system already in place that might be working for them, or, they might have moved on to something else. So.
And to piggyback on the plan thing, like I think the great thing about having a plan is that it frees your mind up after that. Like your mind's not cluttered, and I know for me, like it just gets cluttered and then I can't work, But then like I was talking to Tara today and she was like, yeah, I got up super early. Like I said, I was going to do, like I had planned to do. And then her son got up too, and so sometimes life will throw you a curveball. So don't get down on yourself and just be like, well, today's done. That was awful. Like life happens. So the beautiful thing about a plan is that when you're going to work next. So sometimes, especially as moms, like it just happens. You can't control when your kid wakes up, at the same time that you are, and you have to take care of them rather than work or, whatever the case may be. So I just kind of want to have a plan, but don't like be so stringent that you can't work within those parameters. Does that make sense? or don't get too frustrated with yourself or overwhelmed for that matter. But anyways, it's my 2 cents. Very good points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I kind of had. What questions do y'all have about?
I noticed the comments about 10 people, like you're struggling with the 10 people that you're supposed to be contacting every day. Is that what I read in here? Let me go look.
That's a good thing to talk about.
Yeah, I really do think that that can be tough. And one way to help yourself find 10 people, if you're running low on that, is to talk about the little things on about coaching on social media. Someone posted, or I think it was a training call a while back, but she had talked about like something as simple as paying a $40 water bill with Beachbody or Beachbody paycheck. And it doesn't always have to be money motivated. It could be anything from, you know, the community, the people that you've been in conversation with, a challenger's transformation that you've helped play a part in. If you talk about those kind of things a lot on social media, that will help you find those 10 people a day. So don't be hard on yourself about it. But if you just keep doing that consistently over time, those people will start coming out of the woodworks because they are watching. So people will start coming around.
And I think flipping the switch too on social media, I think this has kind of been my theme this week, I guess, and sharing about, because if you're wanting to be a diamond, right, that means you're wanting to be a leader in this organization. And that means that coaching is a huge part of your life. And sharing about that is important, not just about the fitness programs, not just about Shakeology, not just about your nutrition. All that's important because that's part of the coach life. And that's why you are a coach too, because it helps you be a better you and make better choices. But people need to know that. They need to know why you're a coach. And that's how you're going to attract your future coaches. Not, yes, they'll join challenge groups most likely and all that kind of stuff, but they'll want a piece of what you have with maybe this community or this sisterhood or, staying on track or, think about all those different reasons why you decided to become a coach and are staying a coach and want to be a leader, and talk about those. Because if you felt that way, I'm sure somebody else wants to feel that way too. And there was something else too on the fear that I don't respond to potential challengers right away, then they'll change their mind. I totally felt that before. Totally get it. If it makes you more comfortable, because I know, they can see that you've seen it, right? They can see that you've seen the little, your little face pops up next to it. You're like, oh, just shoot them a message real quick, like, hey, I'm right in the middle of my day, but I'll respond back to you tonight. Just to let them know that you're still seeing their message, you still find them important. But I find when I can sit down in my laptop, take a breath, think about what questions I want to ask, rather than shooting off from my phone, I just have a lot better conversation.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So Eric Worre, if you read GoPro, he even kind of talks about that, I think, or at least I've heard him say that before, that just living on your laptop, hey, I'm running out the door real quick, but I just, I'm going to come back to this. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you, kind of thing. That's totally fine. So I think that's good. And just to kind of add to everything that was said here, if you're not feeling overwhelmed by this, then I think something's probably wrong, right? So more than anything, I think a feeling of overwhelm is very normal. For doing 10 invites a day. That is a lot. And I was sharing with Ashley earlier today that my hope for you out of this whole doing 10 a day and adding 10 to your list a day, it's getting you into that habit of the things that have to happen on a daily basis in order for you to succeed as a coach. So you go from business starter training to kind of understanding what you have to do on social media and how to start talking to people and inviting to your challenge group. But we don't really cover day in and day out, what do you have to do to build a business as a coach? And so she even said today, Okay, so when I go back to 3 to 5 invites a day, like that's going to be a breeze. So now that you've done 10 a day, like when you go back to what your norm is, you're going to be like, I got this. I can totally do this. But you do have to get into that habit of consistently every day, not negotiable, got to do the invites, got to add people to your list. I know it feels like nothing's moving sometimes, but I promise you it is. Because that's, like I said earlier today somewhere, it's like there's no magic sauce for this. That is the magic sauce. Insert your hard work and there you go. So anyways, I don't want to like take over the call here, but I did want to say that because I want y'all to not feel like it's strange that you're feeling overwhelmed. You should be overwhelmed. And, you know, when we're doing short bursts of effort like this, it should feel that way. And there is some degree of pressure. Diamonds are made under pressure, right? So you're not going to get to diamond by just doing the 3 to 5 invites a day. It's not going to happen. You're going to, at some point, like you know now, you're going to have to push yourself. And you got to know what that feels like in order to help somebody else walk through the same thing. And so that's what this is all about, is teaching you those things. So even if you don't end up diamond at the end of this, you have learned some very important skills and a difference in your mindset. So, and it kind of goes back to, Devin, I think maybe you had just come on board or maybe not yet. I'm not sure. It was Mandy was in this group and it was real early on. And I remember this group and it was like, we ran this group and we made them check in every day with 3 invites, 3 finds, and 10 minutes of personal, like they had to post every day or else they were booted from the group. I mean, it was like hardcore. You know, we don't like to boot people from groups, but like that was it. But the people that came out of that group, like they're still here and they're doing great in their businesses. And I think that when we kind of go back to the basics like that, like there is a mindset shift when you go through something like this. And so this is kind of a similar look and feel of that group. But anyways, I just wanted to share that too. So there's a lot of value. You will come out of this, like what comes out of this won't just be for this 30 days. Like you will continue to see the fruits of what you have done this month far into the future. So, but that's it.
Yeah, because people are watching now. You know, even if you heard nothing back from them, I guarantee you they're like, what is she doing? Like they're watching now. And every time you send an invite out too, I believe it increases your Facebook affinity. So they're going to see more of your stuff too. So, yeah, that's the inviting's. It's good stuff. Even if you hear nothing back, they're watching, they're interested, you know, that you want them to be thinking of you when, you know, even if come January rolls around, you know? So it's normal not always to hear back. So, but that doesn't mean they're still watching.
No question.
She was one that Christy read the message, I think, or I knew she had seen it, and then she was like, didn't respond for like weeks. I was like, oh.
Me?
Yeah. I was like, she thinks I'm nuts. Like literally. That's what I thought. But like a few weeks later, she was like, so, you know, about this coaching thing. But yeah, that's what happened.
It's funny.
Good stuff.
Can I ask a technical question?
Yeah.
So, I think I have I should know this, but I have, my husband's a coach on my weak leg, and I just signed up a new coach today. But at what point do I start, like, go ahead and like building his business? Like I only have like 2 Success Club points this month. I may or may not hit it, but should I find this coach under him today? Because I think I have like 4 on my left and 2 on my right. So, 2 on my right. So this would be my 3rd on my right. So I almost have the 4 and 4, and I just need the 2 emeralds. So, but should I just go ahead and give this one to him right now? What do you guys think? No? Okay. Just go ahead and keep adding a discount coach
You
until.
get a Success Club before you ever do anything for your spouse. That's
Okay. Okay.
So, and you're only halfway through the month, so you will hit it.
Okay.
It's way too early to be saying you're not going to hit it.
I know. It's just I'm definitely in this emotional funk right now because it's just things that I thought were going to pan out didn't, and then some that did have, but it's been a crazy month. So I'm looking for my mojo, and I hope to get back to it really quick. So thanks. I just wanted to ask that.
Definitely a roller coaster. There are some highs and there are some lows. So, but you control what you can control, right? You can control the income building activities, the invites and the fines. You control that. You control how much work you put into it. So you worry about what you can control, and then there are the things that you can't. You can't. So,
So if I sign up one more customer or coach, discount coach, then that would put me I would definitely hit Success Club 5. So at that point, the next person after that would go to him is a new discount coach. That once I hit Success Club 5, then I can start building him.
yes, as long as you, this is my opinion, and Devin or Renee, you can tell me what you think too, but I would say you need to have yourself with the 8 coaches before you start putting people under him too. So, there's no reason to put anybody under him necessarily. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure there are circumstances where you might strategically do that, but I usually would stick somebody to get their 4 and 4. Always make sure you have Success Club, and then at that point, put some discount coaches under your spouse.
Okay.
But your business is if you're building, then that's the primary thing. So you focus there, and then you move over to the spouse.
Okay, that's good to know. So 4 and 4 on each leg, and then start. Okay.
Yes. Do y'all feel the same way?
Would you do a buffer, a couple people to buffer it?
Yeah.
Before you started building your spouse?
Yeah.
So 5 and 5, you think? And then build? I would put a couple, because people are going to be going, that's one of the most frustrating things is you'll open up on Thursday and 2 people are showing red. You're and you go into a tizzy for a day, and then everything settles down. So it's
definitely, yeah.
I really encouraged one of my PS groups today. So many people are so very close to Diamond, and I encourage them to make it happen. For the simple reason of when you wake up on Thursday, Brayden, honey, I'm on a call. No, I'm on a call. He just got out of the bathtub. So my husband's been out of town for 2 weeks. It's awesome. Hang on just a second. Let me close the door.
Mom boss, I'd be a basket case if my husband out of town for 2 weeks.
2 weeks. AC went out on the car. AC went out at the house. Hot water heater went out. The propane guy backed through our yard and it sank. And there's huge ruts. Yeah. It's been eventful over here. So if you wonder, if I haven't returned your message or if I seem a little scattered, or if you want to talk about being overwhelmed, I feel you this week. I really, really do. My boys, they play baseball. We got 2 practices a week on top of school. They're in a new private school. We got tons of homework. So I'm juggling a lot. And so, I get it. I totally get it. But there are certain non-negotiables that will always happen no matter what. And so it's a season, I'm going to make it through this week. And, whatever y'all have going on, I know there are much worse things in the world than having ruts in my yard. So, it's fine. I compartmentalize very well. I think that sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes a bad thing. But I don't really remember what I was talking about before I got interrupted. So I don't.
You're saying if you do it now because tomorrow you could wake up and.
Yes. Okay. So tomorrow, it's very possible that you wake up and then 1 or 2 of your coaches are red. they're showing red inactive, and you know they're going to be inactive if they don't fix it, or if you don't replace that person or whatever. So when you get super close, like, you just got to make it happen, because it'll start to feel like, if you don't, then it'll start to feel like you're taking one step forward, two steps back, and then you're like super discouraged, and it's hard to get out of that funk. So yeah, you have to find a way to make it happen. And that's just like, there's no fancy great way to say that other than to just say, you got to do it. You know, you got to make a decision and do it. And it's not going to be easy, but a lot of times, you know, we say emerald is a decision, diamond is a decision. You know, for me, and I'll just share kind of what I shared with the PS group today. So this is kind of a repeat for some of y'all, but mindset wise, and I don't know what all of y'all are in terms of like the whole Danny Johnson thing, but I am Ruby. And so, like, if I was 1 or 2 coaches away from diamond, I would not go another week without making it happen. Like, it just wouldn't happen. Is that, like, I don't know if that resonates with any of you, but that's the Ruby coming out of me. I know everybody is different and processes through that differently. But if you kind of want to know, like, what goes on in my mind in that circumstance, that's it. Like, I would make sure that I don't go to bed on Wednesday night until it's locked in. And so that's just a little kind of tough love. And if you're not Ruby, that might totally scare you. So I'm sorry, but
Which is the one that if you didn't finish the survey to figure out which one you are?
that's the one. Okay, so I'll post this
I
for
never
y'all.
made it through the whole thing.
Yes. So, like, it tells you if you're a sapphire, a ruby, a pearl, or an emerald, right? And ruby is like super opinionated and bossy, and like, that's me. So, you know, so I started going down the survey, and I was like maybe about halfway through, and I could see the pattern already because I'd already skipped to the bottom to see what the letters meant, basically. And so I already knew, like, I was getting almost everyone the same thing, and I was like, this is dumb. I'm not going to finish the survey because it's a waste of my time. I already know what I am, which is a total Ruby thing to do. You know, like, I don't have time for this. I'm moving on. I'm done. So anyways, it would be interesting to know what your gems are, because I think it's like, just like I probably scare you with some of that stuff. If you're not Ruby, like, you're probably like, whoa, she's intense. You know, but at least we can appreciate each other for how we are different in some ways and motivated differently too. So, you know, for example, if you're Pearl, like, that probably does scare you a little bit. And the more somebody pushes, like, you probably want to step back, you know? And so it's good to know, and this is good to do with your teams too, like your coaches and stuff, because it will help you know how they're motivated and how to best lead them. It's like being a teacher, Kayla. You know, like, you assess your students, you know how they learn, you know what their strengths are and their weaknesses. And so it equips you to be a better leader for each individual person on your team, instead of just assuming that everybody likes to be pushed the way you are. So anyways, I know I've gone off on like some tangents, but I'll be quiet. Y'all have any questions, or Renee and Devin? Sorry, I'm not used to not talking on this call.
No, I really I like that, because it's funny too with the emeralds and stuff, and the Danny Johnson gem testing, how you can have the split, because I'm a ruby sapphire, which is kind of funny to have a bit of both, because the sapphires are like the fun people, you know, and the like all over the place unorganized, but then I'm a ruby too, so it's kind of like I'm contradicting myself in a weird way. But I'm like this control freak almost that likes to have fun and be crazy and unorganized. So it's kind of fun to take those tests and just see. And then when I do that, I've realized like how it's affected my team, because I do have a ton of pearls on my team. And then I'm all like, you got to do the team cup and you got to get all these points. And then they're like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, this is, and I've scared people that way. And so it's good to like know those things about your team, because not everyone's like you.
Mhm.
And it's fun though. It's fun to see the differences and to get to know yourself better. So I really,
Yes, and just so y'all know, like I've been on leader pages before where they talked about this, and they're, like every coach on those pages has done this test, and so there are people from every gym basically. So don't feel like, oh, it's only the emeralds or only the rubies or whoever. That it's not like that at all. So there are successful coaches that are all over the board there. So.
and then have your kids take it too, and your husband, so that you can use it against them, so you'll know kind of how to read them too. It works to your benefit, like when I did it for my kids too, on what motivates them. And so, yeah, you can tap into that in your family and not just your business.
That's good. I like that. I should do that.
Yeah. But anything else before we get off of here?
Dad, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. One question that I had whenever you guys were talking about scheduling your day, like I'm so new and like I've only been a coach for the last month. And so like my initial plan was like, okay, I'm going to sit down every day and like do a power hour or something like that. And like, since I'm so new and I don't have very many people underneath of me right now, like I feel like I'm sort of like banging my head against the wall, and I'm sort of having a hard time grasping like what it is I should be doing every day. Like I know like trying to add people to groups and inviting, but like what do you think that looks like scheduling wise, like so early on?
If correct me if I'm wrong, but like what I do for power hours and what's really helped me learn my group for a power hour is I've Googled power hour for Beachbody coaches. And I've also checked the FAQs or the back office, and they'll give you lots of different ideas of how to do it. There's even like YouTube videos that actually train you, and you can actually do a power hour. They do a whole YouTube video of a power hour and walk you through it. Just various people.
I see them like as so beneficial, but like I don't know if it's something I can actually do every day without annoying the same few people over and over. Because like I only have so many challengers and like people who are interested, and I would literally be talking to the same people every day. So like, should I be breaking it up every day? Like, should I try to like do a few different tasks every day and be breaking it up? Like, does that make any sense?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Renee.
Well, I was going to say that this may be something that we should elaborate on a different call, but because obviously you're talking about your warm market and you want to bring in new people, but when you're going through your power hour, asking for referrals really helps, and running free groups to get new people so that you're not just working with the same people. And then anyone, because now you said this is like your first month, so last month, or like next month, you can go back to everyone you spoke to last month and just circle back around and say, is now a better time for you, which is a way to still utilize the same people, but you're not annoying them. You're just checking to make sure to see if it's a better time for them.
I'm just sort of trying to figure out like what a good daily rhythm is for me, like and really what that looks like for like me being able to work my business every day. I'm just having a hard time like finding a good rhythm. Like I'm doing good, like checking in with people once every week and like, sending out, like some new invites and trying to add people. But it's just hard to figure out like, okay, like over a weekly time span, I'm doing all these things, but it's hard for me to figure out right now, like what a daily rhythm looks like.
Like what Amber said, though, it's really not a one. I feel like you're always going to feel like a little bit overwhelmed. Like even me, and I'm sure Amber, like she was saying, life happens, stuff goes on in your life. You know, I'm in the middle of selling and buying and getting the animals out of the house with all these showings with 2 kids in school where I'm having to be active in the school. Like, I have my own craziness in my life too right now, and I'm trying to manage my business at the same time. And, you know, occasionally I'll have my little meltdowns and Devin will have to deal with me. But, you know, like, I'm sorry, Devin. Like, earlier today, she may have, like, heard me break down in a nervous breakdown. But I just, you know, I mean, it's life, and we all go through it. But just, you know, going with the flow and being okay not being perfect, because we're not perfect, you know? We're not. And so some days you get it right, and some days you suck at it, and it's okay. Just keep moving forward and keep going.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling too to like figure out how to talk to more people, that's not necessarily like an invite. This is where I've changed things up over the past year, is just, and I don't know how much y'all have talked about this, is just connecting with people, like finding dumb reasons to say hi.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that literally, and that's what, you know, that Teamsy, which I'm kind of exploring, they talk about, that's what Carl talks about, is just connecting with people. If it's someone's birthday, don't put it on their wall, send them a message, say happy birthday, how have you been?
Yeah.
Like, if it's, you know, there's so many, your kids look great, there's so many different things you can reach out and just send a message that has zero to do with Beachbody, just starting a conversation and being a good friend.
Yeah.
And if you're trying, I mean, that could be a 15-minute block of time. I'm going to find 10 people that I'm just going to send a message to say, hey.
I guess, like, I'm such a structured person. Like, I love and thrive on having a schedule, like knowing that I need to do X, Y, and Z, like, in this amount of time. That I guess, like, with like me only being a little over a month in, like, I think realistically, like, me being able to do that power hour every day, like, it's just me banging my head against the wall. And I just sort of need to take it, like, in stride sort of at this point. And it's going to look different for me at this point, maybe.
I think you're going to have to keep doing those power hours and maybe
Okay.
trying different things there until you find your groove.
Okay.
Because what works for you may not, I mean, the skills are the activity is the same. So that doesn't change for me or you or anybody, no matter what stage they are in their business. There's still some degree of attracting, connecting, inviting.
Yeah.
You have to do every day, and then adding people to your list. So I think that the way that you do that, or the amount of time that you spend on each thing, may vary, or just getting that groove of, you know, maybe you do that every other day, and then you do your follow-ups on the days in between. Like, you know, I have experimented with a million different ways of doing it. And as my business has changed, my methods have changed too.
Yeah.
So you'll get used to one way and you'll be like, oh, this is working great. And then your business starts to grow and things start to develop, and then you got to change that, you know, because that's not working anymore. And so where I get it, because I'm also, like, my other gym is Emerald, you know, like, I like things to be in a row, but you also have to let some of that go. Because where you can have it in a row, it may not always actually go that way.
Yeah.
So you got to have a little bit of flexibility there and just kind of be willing to find what works for you. I think is the best way I can guide you there.
No, that's actually really helpful to hear.
Good. You're doing great. So good. Well, I wanted to say before we get off, there is a book that people are really talking about right now. I haven't read it. Devin, I think you've read some of it, but maybe not this new version. It is Miracle Morning, and it's Miracle. There's a new one called Miracle Morning, but for network marketers or something. And then there's a new 90-day action plan thing that comes with it. So I just ordered it. The action plan is like $5. The book was $13 or something like that. But there's a lot of people raving about that. And since we're talking about being overwhelmed and time management and all of that, I feel like if you're struggling in that area, that may be a good resource for you. So, and I also think it's probably a good read, which is.
Yeah, the regular Miracle Morning was awesome. I got up for like 2 weeks straight at 5 a.m. I don't remember what happened after, but I was on it for a while.
There's people saying like, "Oh my gosh, this has changed my life forever. I think everybody should read it." Like that's what I'm hearing in the background. So I'm like, okay, ordered. I'm ordering it. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, The Miracle of Morning was awesome. Like his story's amazing, like what he's gone through, and it makes you like, wow, I need to get up early and take care of like my life. It's a great personal development read along with an action plan read as well. So, and again, he gives you like 6 things to do before, 6 a.m. and some of them are doable, other ones aren't, but the idea behind it, it's amazing. Oh yeah, Molly read it. Remember? We were going to get up at like 5 a.m.
Okay, hold up. So Brandy, you're going to be Diamond tomorrow? What? Yay! Woohoo! That's so exciting!
Yeah, that is so awesome.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yay! I'm just reading through the chat here, and I was like, "Whoa! How did we miss that?"
That's fantastic.
Yay! So exciting. Good. Well, we
So-
know.
Do you have any words of wisdom for us?
Me?
Who?
Who's going to be Diamond? Oh, I know. Look, she just got all crazy.
So tell us what you've been doing.
How did you do it? Any
It
secrets?
was kind of sketchy. So I have my husband on the one leg, and I have a builder who's on that leg who went Emerald today, but I have another girl on my other leg who signed up her husband, but we couldn't find her another. She just couldn't find another discount coach. So I put my mother-in-law under her so she would go Emerald.
Right
There you
there.
have it.
It's a decision right there. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
Is Amber who's your upline?
Melody.
Melody. Okay.
Woo-hoo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Very
a
nice.
good strategy because I thought about, because I don't really have, I have a good friend on my leg where I don't have any builders. It's the opposite leg of my husband. And I thought down the road that I might, because she kind of wants to work the business, but she's going to do our What Is Coaching call. But she's a discount member. But I thought about maybe when I get to that point, if I don't have anybody, can I add people under her? So I'm glad you mentioned that, Brandy, because that wasn't even like in my radar that I could build someone up that's not a family member.
My choice was to put her on that leg and build her to Emerald myself, since I put a builder on my husband's leg because I didn't know who would be a builder. But it was going to be me finding 2 discount coaches today, or just helping Valerie so I could do it.
And congratulations. That's awesome.
That was awesome. Good job. Good job.
All right. So who's next?
Kayla, saw your hand go
I
up.
mean, I'm trying really hard. Put it this way, like I just said, I'm gonna have to leave because I really do get up at 5 a.m. every morning, and that's my time to work my business before school as best I can, unless my brain's just dead, which is
Right.
good because we just started school. But I mean, like I've made the fact that I'm doing this at 5 a.m. just tells me like I've made this decision already, that I'm getting my butt up out of bed at 5 a.m., which wouldn't have happened if I had made the decision. So because I had to, so like I lost some coaches right at Summit, and I had to finagle my way to get back to Emerald before the training. Like I got there the Wednesday before this training because I wanted to be in the training. So it told me like I've made the decision, even I don't know if I like wrote it down or anything, but it just tells me I'm making the decision. So I mean, I'm talking to 2 people every day about being a coach, so that's something I've never done before. So I'm gonna get there. I mean, it's just gonna happen. So,
Good.
Oh. But yeah, no, I'm next.
Oh, love your mindset. That's awesome.
Anybody want to race, Kayla?
I'm
They're
scared.
groovy. I'm sorry.
And all mine.
Out here.
It's a good thing I'm a boy mom because like everything is a competition. So like I actually enjoy that, and I'm like, sweet, let's go. You know.
I mean, having the little Vimify, listen, I am motivated by that little thing. The fact that I have to get the points, I have to be number one on the leaderboard. Like, if I'm not number one on the leaderboard, I need to go to work. Like, I have to be number one. So Gowdy's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not number one right now. I need to work.
That's awesome.
So that I'm a competitor. Like, that's my motivation right now. And it's so silly, but it's what gets me going.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really? Gotta get you far.
Melody's over there shaking her head at me, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what it is.
You've been doing great.
Well, if that's everything for everyone, everyone good? I think we're gonna call it a night.
I missed the earlier part of this call. So where do you guys post the recorded calls at?
I know that Amber said not to record it, but I didn't hit the not record button, so I think
it's recording. I see like a little red dot in the top corner. So, okay.
I didn't unhit the record button, so it is recorded for everyone. So I can post it in our thread for everyone if that works.
Nicer than I am.
Where do y'all post it?
That's the sapphire in me, I think.
She can post it in the thread. I think she can post the uploaded file into the thread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll let this one slide. No.
Next time, no. Next time, I always forget to hit record, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes I forget, but I set mine up somehow that it automatically does it. I don't know.
I need to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Zoom, I don't understand it. I just send a link and it just goes. So
it's good.
But
all right, thank y'all.
Thanks. Good night.
Have a good night.
Y'all too.
Y'all are doing great. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Devin.
You're doing awesome.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks.